just walking down the main street of Koh Samui, and I heard a kerfuffle down a laneway, and people standing at the front. They seem to be quite, shocked and amazed. And I glanced down there, and there's this guy on the ground, and these guys hopping into him, right? And I just turned down the lane and started yelling at the top of my voice, hey, stop, hey, really loud. And I've got obviously a deep voice, and down that laneway, it carried with some impact, and it sort of put some shock into the air, and they all looked up. This guy came towards me, and he said, "Are you with him?" And I said, "I'm not with him, but you guys have got to stop this. This guy, he's going to die, and you're all going to go to fucking jail." And he goes, I don't care. And he's talking like this. He says, "I'm Thai. He took a video of me, and he's trying to blackmail me with that video." And so then he sort of came a bit close to me, and I was obviously taken a bit back by this. There's a few of them down there, and I just said to him in Thai, I told him Thai, Jai Yen Yen, please, have a, quite basically calm your heart, cool your heart, Jai Yen Yen, and it's the terminology that the Thai people hold in, I guess, their culture as being a higher level of thinking, a higher level of behaviour when you're able to not get flustered. And I think I appealed to him in that way, and he sort of paused, and he looked at me, and he thought to himself, what, I don't really want to stop because this guy's on the ground and he's bleeding, and I enjoy the fact that I'm going to punch the living shit out of him, which he was doing. And then he went and grabbed a piece of wood and came towards him, and I said, "Please stop, mate, stop." And I walked up to him, and I think to myself, I'm certainly putting myself in danger here. But the fact that I could speak a little bit of Thai, and I did it in a very humble and non-threatening way. He stopped, and he looked at this guy, and he said, "The only reason I'm not going to kill you tonight is because of this guy." And he turned to me, he said, "Mate, you've got nothing to do with this. You shouldn't even be here." And I said, "I know that, mate, but I don't want to let anybody get killed tonight. And you're only that far away from killing him. And you don't want to do that." And, he sort of heard that. And I think that made a difference. So a poor guy, I don't know where he is. This other Thai guy reached into his bag and grabbed his mobile phone out of it, took it and smashed it onto the ground, and I picked up the pieces and gave it back to him and said, "Mate, look, you can recover that. You need to take it to a place and recover the memory, etc." As I looked at the phone, I could see it had a stylus. It was a Samsung phone with a stylus, and I think it was pretty similar to one of the ones I've had. So not cheap. And he had this Game Boy type thing, and the Thai guy took that, and then he handed it back to me and said, "Can you please open that up and have a look at it? I want to know if he's got any pictures of me on it." I said, "Yeah, okay." So he said, "I don't trust this guy, but I do trust you." And that was kind of nice. I opened up the packet, the case. I took it out, and I had no idea how to turn it on, and I just fumbled with it for a little while, and just put it back in the case, and was able to give it back to the rightful owner. Anyway, it was a pretty spectacular event, but it certainly sent the wind up my ass, knowing that this guy was being punished because he was taking a video of someone, right? And I don't know the full details of what it was all about, but it certainly wasn't well received. Now, the other thing that I would say is that people need to be mindful that they're in Thailand, and people talk about the Philippines as being dangerous and that type of thing. Now, someone tried to pick my pocket a couple of weeks ago, but Thais, I think they look for opportunities to beat up foreigners. Now, somebody might disagree with me, But I've seen it a few times now. You know, a foreigner steps out of line by an increment and the Thais are into him. Now, you know, that type of increment back home would just, you know, result in a verbal exchange. But, you know, the Thais will sneak go you from behind and beat you to the ground and then keep going. And their mates will jump in and they call it a pack of dogs fighting, right? Well, yeah, so I actually feel safer in the Philippines than I do here in Thailand, particularly when I see things like that. You know, you're only ever that far away from being beaten up here if you open your mouth. You're out, you know, late at night and you say the wrong thing. In the Philippines, sure, you might be walking around some of the seedy areas and you might get mugged, but you know to walk on the main drags and, you know, in the lit areas and that type of stuff to keep yourself safe. I don't think you have that same luxury here in Thailand. They'll go you anywhere and they just don't care, right? Yeah, and they're not afraid of the law, right? These Thais that are beating up on you, they don't care. You know, people are saying police are coming and all this kind of stuff, and they don't give a damn. They just keep going, right? So it's pretty ruthless stuff, and I think they do it also as part of their saving face cultural predisposition, if I could say, right? You know, face is a huge thing here in Thailand, and if you're challenging someone's in any way in terms of their ethics or their credibility or, you know, or their power or whatever, right? You're potentially challenging them to a duel, right? And you got to be really careful because it's very difficult to give face back once you've taken it away. And the way they see it is they have to take it back. And they have to take it back through showing that they are stronger, more powerful than you, and that usually means, you know, beating the shit out of you. The other thing that's going on here is, you know, the booze, right? Lots of booze going on, and, you know, Thais hit it pretty hard. They drink hard, and you know, I've drunk with Thais on lots of occasions and never had any problems at all. But, you know, when you start talking about booze, and then of course there's the other stuff that they consume here that's not legal in a lot of other countries. The combinations of different chemicals and stuff really predisposes people to a bad day. I would say, in a nutshell, that for a young Western man, Thailand can be a very, very dangerous place. You know, for an older fella like myself, keep to myself, show respect wherever I go. I guess the odds are stacked in my favour. But, you know, people that don't understand some of those principles, they're only just, you know, moments away from, you know, being injured. And yeah, I saw that tonight. I did see on another occasion in Nana Plaza in Bangkok, I saw a young bloke beaten to the ground in the plaza by one of the heavy security guys. You know, he wasn't wearing a uniform. The young bloke just walked up to him, and it was right in my presence, and said, "Oh, I like your hat, man. It's a really nice hat," and pointed to his hat. This guy took one look at him and dropped him. And then when he hit the ground, he kicked him a couple of times in the face. And I said, "Hey, mate, stop. And he looked up at me and said, "Come on, stop, enough. You've hurt him enough. He's hurt, you've hurt him enough." And he sort of backed off. He said, "Take him out of here. He wasn't even my friend." And this guy got up and he said, "Man, I just said I like you." I said, "Mate, shut up and move on. Just move on." He said, "But I just said," he couldn't even get it, right? That this guy was just using him as a punching bag. And the reason he was doing that is because the guy was an easy target. He was a young bloke. You could see that he probably, you know, never had a fight in his life. And this thug used the opportunity to show off in front of his mates, beating up a Westerner. Yeah, I've seen it there. I've seen it in Pattaya. You know, the number of times I've seen blood on the footpath in Pattaya where Thais have beaten the shit out of foreigners. You know, I'd have to use 2 hands to count, seriously. So I know I'm stretching this out a bit, but I think I want to get the message across, and that is, if you come here and you drink, you really need to understand the principles of looking after yourself here. You know, it's not a matter of, you know, putting up your dukes and, you know, away you go, because you know, you might be able to deal with one bloke, but the other guy's going to come from the left, the right, the rear, and they're going to hit you with that whole pack of dogs mentality and clean you up. So no matter how strong or how brave or, you know, what you know, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work.